Good evening. My name's Todd Ale. I'm on the faculty here at Del Mar College. Thank you for coming. I know this will be an enjoyable program. Let me ask you please at this time to turn off your cell phones, silence your phones. It would be helpful. It's incredibly distracting to have them go off while we're performing. I don't mean we, I just mean at any time. Also, the artists ask, no flash photography. Let's see, hopefully you looked at the program before you came in that lists the order of the pieces. In case you did not, I will tell you very, very quickly. The first piece is the Poulenc Sonata for clarinet and piano. And we have Ivan Petrucciello on clarinet with David Sutanto on piano. Hopefully you read the artist's bios too. It's pretty extensive, and I'm not going to try and go into that too much. But Ivan is the assistant principal clarinetist with the Fort Worth Symphony. And of course, David is on the faculty here at Del Mar College. The second piece is Histoire du Tango for violin and piano by Astor Piazzolla. And that has Pablo Donati on violin with David again on the piano. And Pablo is well known here in this town, and many of you will know him and recognize him because he has been in the Corpus Christi Symphony for the past 30 years. And he served as concertmaster for 12 years. So the final program piece is it's with all three artists, is La Histoire de Soldat, Soldier's Tale by Igor Stravinsky. The artists will briefly discuss these works before they perform, so you'll know a little more about them. So thank you again for coming, and enjoy it.
Hello, thanks for coming. I'm from Italy, so my English is so-so. We are about to play the Poulenc Sonata, and I wanted to tell you something about it. He wrote 3 woodwind sonatas toward the end of his life. He wrote a flute sonata, an oboe sonata, and a clarinet sonata. The clarinet sonata is dedicated to Arthur Honegger, and together with Poulenc and other composers, they were called the group of 6. This group of 6 people were basically against the chromaticism and the post-romanticism of the music of Wagner and Strauss. So you will find basically simple melodies, and but as always with Poulenc music, you will find beautiful melodies. I hope you enjoy it.
if you've seen a program, I don't know if there's a program, but you've been told what we're playing. So I'll remind you and tell you a little bit about it. We're playing Astor Piazzolla's music. Piazzolla was a great Argentine composer. So I think that's pretty appropriate now for Hispanic Heritage Month, right? And he started from tango. He created his own music. He said his music was urban music from the city of Buenos Aires and based on tango, but not really tango. So, but he wrote a history of tango, which is 4 movements, starting when tango just started in Buenos Aires in the early 1900s, and that's the piece titled Bordello. And you can imagine it was a very fast dance. Probably, you know, the women who worked there and the immigrants and sailors who brought their guitars and flutes, and that's how tango was played originally, on flute and guitar. That's the first piece we're playing. There's some interesting percussive effects on the piano that David's gonna do there.
Really?
Save your knuckles. Yes, I didn't know.
I didn't know.
And then we move on to the second movement. We're only doing 2 of 4. Second one is Café 1930. And by then, tango was still music to be danced to, but a lot of music to listen to. More lyrical, more romantic. And you'll see that where, you know, next time we play, we're going to do the other 2 movements. We're going to the 1960s and the tango of today. So Bordello first and Café 1930.
thank you again for coming to this evening concert. This is actually a much better situation, I think, the seating comparing with last April when I invited guest pianists where the college only allowed 45 audience. But last week they told me that you can increase it to 60. So that's wonderful. So it's so nice to see more people, and I hope that as the situation gets better, we got more and more people, and because this hall seats 233 people, believe it or not. So, but it's just amazing to see people. People always say, well, it's the same thing when you perform online. It's not the same, you know. I always tell my students and I tell everyone that 50% of the success of the performance really comes from the audience. You know, 50% come from what we are doing here. You know, we practice and but ultimately it's really from the audience. There's a connection. It has to have a strong connection between the performer and the audience. So, you know, I just enjoyed just to hear you guys breathing. It's really nice. Again, I want to thank both my wonderful colleagues here, Ivan, Pablo, wonderful musicians. Thank you so much because therefore that's the It is such an honor and delight to perform with them. The last piece that we're going to be performing tonight is L'Histoire du Soldat. It's basically the soldier's tale. That's what I think the English translation is. And I think I have to say something about this piece because it is a programmatic music. So it has some story behind it. I think if you know the story, hopefully it will be a little bit more enjoyable to listen. This is actually, again, the piece is was composed by Russian composer Igor Stravinsky, who lived from 1882 to 1971. And this piece was actually originally a theatrical piece, composed for 7 musical instruments: violin, double bass, clarinet, bassoon, trumpet, trombone, and percussions, with 3 actors: the soldier, the devil, and the narrator. And it was composed around the World War I, so that's why the idea of the soldier, you know, come from there. So in 1919, Stravinsky figured that, you know, he wants the piece to be performed more accessible, so he wrote a version for just the 3 instruments: piano, clarinet, and violin, and that's what we're going to be performing. And it has 5 movements. Let me see. So the 5 movements are, I'm sorry again, guys, I mean, there's no program here, so I'm going to say it. Hopefully you guys can remember this. The first movement is called Soldier March. So you're going to hear, thum, 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 thum. That's the Soldier March right there. And then the second movement is called Soldier's Violin. That's when the soldier's playing violin. And then the third movement is called Small Concert. And then the 4th movement is probably a very interesting movement. It has 3 dances: tango, waltz, and ragtime. So it will be interesting to see how Russian composer wrote tango, waltz, and ragtime. And then finally, the last movement is the Devil's Dance. So basically the story of the piece is tale of a young soldier who makes a deal with the devil. So it's almost like a Faustian drama. Walking down a lonely road, that's the first movement, you're going to hear that, the soldier's march. The soldier stops to play his violin. Apparently he's a good violin player. So, and then the devil, in disguise, listens to his playing and became attracted. So that's the second movement. And then approaching the young soldier, the devil offers him a trade: the violin for a book that can tell the future. Long story short, the soldier agrees with the trade, but later on he regrets it because he never gets the one thing that the devil has promised him, that is happiness. So the soldier gets wealthy, gets everything he wants, money, everything, but he wants happiness and he doesn't get it. So he regretted it. But of course, when you make a deal with the devil, it's not easy for you to trade back, right? So one day the soldier hears about a sleeping princess whose father, the king, has offered her hand in marriage to anyone who can awaken her. So the soldier goes to the castle to see if he could awaken the princess. But the devil is there as well. So while in the castle, both the soldiers and the devil, well, they try to, I think the soldier is planning something here, try to get his violin back, of course. So he played card, and he gets the devil drunk, and cunningly, he actually gets his violin back. And he rejoices at this moment by playing the third movement, small concert. Then he continues playing the fourth movement, that's the dance, the tango, waltz, and ragtime. And while he was playing, this princess is awakened. You know, it's interesting because as I was practicing then, you know, these two wonderful musicians, I realized, you know, I think anybody that is still sleeping will eventually awaken anyway after hearing this movement. Anyway, you tell me after you hear this, okay? So, and of course, eventually, the princess awakens and they got married. But the devil cautions the soldier that he cannot leave the castle, because if he ever leaves the castle, then the devil will take his soul back. So for a while he stayed in the castle, but eventually he figured, you know, let's try. So he leaves the castle, and immediately, right there, the devil is there and took his soul back. So at the end of the piece, the devil actually wins, not the soldier. Yeah? So, and of course, the devils rejoice. That's the last movement, the devil's dance. Okay, yeah, so that's when he finally gets the soul back. So, at the end of the piece, there is a little poem here that the narrator offers as the moral of the story. This is interesting, so I decided to write it down and read it for you. Why do we yearn to add what we once had to what we've got? Why do we turn from what we are to what we were when we cannot? Why not account our joys twice blessed with each new day begun? And finally, why do we seek to have it all only to find that we have none? Enjoy.
Thank you.